It's decision time for the crypto market. Bitcoin is facing crucial resistance and is repeating a pattern we also saw in 2021 before this massive crash. This resistance is going to be somewhat of a pivotal level for this cycle, and that is what we need to discuss, because I still think that in this ending stage Bitcoin is getting very close to topping out, but there's still one final big push ahead of us. So let's talk about exactly that. But we will discuss a lot more, like all of the most important Bitcoin price data, the latest news hitting the markets. I will give a big update on my Ethereum trading positions and my upcoming new trades, because I'm planning something huge, and we will also take a deep dive into the Ethereum charts themselves, which are lining up quite nicely, and a big deep dive into altcoins and altcoin season. So from there, guys, make sure to first of all subscribe to the channel and watch and like my latest YouTube videos, and then we can dive into the most important content, since I don't think history is going to repeat here. Me personally, I think that Bitcoin is now facing a pivotal point for this cycle, but ultimately we are going to break this resistance. But I do have one major warning, and that is that I think once Bitcoin is going to break this resistance, it's going to be the final push of the cycle. And that final push could be looking something like this. Bitcoin is trading in somewhat of an ascending channel here, and we have been creating a low and high, and since then lower highs, higher highs, lower highs, higher highs. I do think now we are going to move towards that final higher high for the cycle before eventually seeing a drawdown. So that is my Bitcoin game plan here. Bitcoin is flashing this major buy signal still on the stock RSI. Every single time we saw this signal flash for Bitcoin on the stock RSI, we always saw massive moves for Bitcoin follow. So also that aligns with the thesis that I still think there's going to be one final Bitcoin push, and that final push is going to take place in Q4. The breakout pattern might be different this Q4, but the result is going to be exactly the same. The outcome is going to be massive. It's going to be a final push to the top side, like we saw in 2024 with the bull flag, like we saw in 2023 with this broadening wedge. Q4 breakout, and 2025 we're also going to see this Q4 breakout. So ultimately I do think Bitcoin is still looking good. Also because I do know that on the weekly the Bollinger Bands are contracting to some of the tightest levels we've seen in quite a long time. The Bollinger Band width is also falling down to some of the lowest, or not even some, the lowest levels ever. So that's quite insane. It indicates that the Bitcoin volatility is currently very low, and ultimately after such low periods of volatility we do tend to see big moves follow. So I don't think this time is going to be any different, but I do have this major warning signal. You can clearly see that the Bitcoin cycle is getting very close to topping out. If you still believe in the 4-year cycle, then the Bitcoin cycle should be over in the next few weeks. So we should be preparing for exactly that. But on the other hand, always in the ending stage of the cycle, that is going to be the phase where the most amount of gains are going to get made. Most definitely on Ethereum and altcoins, and that is something we will discuss later in this update video. I do think Q4 is still going to be a good phase for Bitcoin, October and November for example, because every single time we saw September turning out as a green month, we've always seen bullish Q4s follow for Bitcoin. Here in 2016, 2015, 2023, 2024, green September equals a bullish Q4. So I don't think that is going to be much different. Global liquidity is making new all-time highs. So that could be aligning with a thesis that this Bitcoin cycle will maybe last longer than most people expect. Is the 4-year cycle broken? I personally still believe in the 4-year cycle until proven otherwise, so I will be taking some aggressive profits in this ending stage of the cycle. Personally, the Nasdaq is hitting new all-time highs daily. It just made the highest weekly close ever, and ultimately on the short term I believe that this is going to be bullish for Bitcoin, because Bitcoin tends to be following the Nasdaq eventually. So it might take a little bit more time now, but I do think Bitcoin is going to follow the Nasdaq leg once again. And now it's time to give a big update on my trading positions. I'm still in my Ethereum trade, which is now coming down ever so slightly, but ultimately I am looking into opening a new Ethereum trade also on LBANK here, because on LBANK you can now claim a 50% deposit bonus on everything you deposit up to 5k. So a maximum deposit of 5k, and your maximum deposit bonus is going to be 2.5k. So Ethereum is going to make a huge decision, and I will be betting big on the upcoming Ethereum breakout. I will transfer my funds over to LBANK, and there we can open and trade together. And if you do want to claim this deposit bonus on LBANK, make sure to check out the link in the description under this update video. Also, if you do want to get updated about my trading decisions in real time, so much faster than I can possibly do on YouTube or over on Twitter X, make sure to join my VIP Telegram group. Also, that link you can find in the description here, and here I'm updating about my trades in real time. Not only me, also Crypto Rover and 5 professional other traders are active in this VIP Telegram group, so make sure to check it out if you do want more setups to be trading yourself. But then I do want to dive into Ethereum, because Ethereum is consolidating in this bullish triangle, and that is looking absolutely huge. For example, on the weekly time frame, but also on the daily, we are going to see a massive Ethereum decision taking place slightly under the all-time highs. And in my opinion, such a consolidation in a bull market just under the all-time highs is eventually going to turn out bullish. Also because this is a bullish pennant, so basically a bullish bias pattern. Definitely have a lot of conviction in Ethereum for this ending stage of the cycle. So keep watching the next update video. We will be trading a lot over the next few videos, and just make sure to have your account ready on LBANK to start trading with me. And yeah, if you don't want to wait, of course, you can sign up immediately. So yeah, Ethereum is looking amazing. Not only the Ethereum versus US dollar pair, but also the Ethereum versus Bitcoin pair is consolidating in somewhat of a bullish triangle, somewhat of a bullish pennant, and that is looking absolutely amazing. I do think Ethereum is going to ultimately initiate a new and big breakout to the top side, and that's going to be also for Ethereum that final wave of the cycle, because from there we are going to transition more into the altcoin season, and we are currently starting to see this. I do think we are now getting into phase 3. Definitely once Ethereum is going to make the next move, we are going to transition more into large caps, and then eventually more into smaller caps and micro caps, and then we are going to see that true altcoin season. We are following the exact game plan of the altcoin season, and I have been talking about this for a long time on the channel. So if you don't want to be missing out anymore on stuff like this, make sure to subscribe on the channel. I do want to give somewhat of an perspective on altcoin season, because the altcoin season index is definitely flashing that we are now in this altcoin season, but I do want you to understand that on the yearly perspective, for example here, we are not even close to an altcoin season yet. So keep that in mind. The Bitcoin dominance, for example, shows exactly the same. Still huge moves ahead, definitely for those altcoins in phase 4 here. So yeah, simply keep that in mind. You're not too late. It's still a great moment to be accumulating and opening some trades. So yeah, make sure to do so, because this is probably one of your last chances before the true altcoin season is going to start. The altcoins will stay outperforming as long as others, so the smallest altcoins divided by Ethereum will stay outperforming. In 2021 we saw a move of almost 150%, and now we have seen a move of about 16% here. So just to put things in perspective, there's still a lot of potential left for others to stay outperforming Ethereum, but I would not be surprised if Ethereum is going to initiate that final leg higher quite soon. Then this chart is going to come down a little bit, and then boom, eventually altcoins will truly start outperforming Ethereum, and you're going to see that massive altcoin season playing out. Also, this chart is going to be hugely important for that. Once this chart is going to confirm the breakout above on the monthly or the weekly, this cup and handle pattern, the total 3 market cap, so basically all altcoins besides Bitcoin and Ethereum, also large caps. Once this is going to confirm the breakout, that is going to be yet again one huge signal of big moves for altcoins. So yeah, I think we truly have an amazing time in the market ahead of us. So guys, that was it for today's update video. Also, make sure if you do enjoy the update videos to subscribe to the channel, and then I will see you guys in the next update video tomorrow or in the next live stream later this week.